The first thing you should understand about Maelle is that her story doesn't begin with heroism. It begins with absence. A city called Lumiere and a girl who never felt at home inside it. Officially, she is described as orphaned at age 3, someone who has a difficulty connecting with and trusting others. And in a world where everyone is counting down toward vanishing, that kind of loneliness isn't a personality quirk. It's a survival strategy. Because in Clair Obscur Expedition 33, death isn't a random event. It is scheduled. The paintress wakes 1 year, paints a number on a monolith, and everyone of that age turns to smoke. So the city lives under ritual. The number ticks down and the world narrows. And Maelle, 16 years old, far younger than others, looks at all of it and decides the expedition isn't just a mission. It's a door. Not a safe door, not a noble door, but a door that opens outward. And that, more than any SWOT technique, explains why she joins the expedition. The official character materials paint Maelle with a few sharp strokes, like a portrait done under poor candlelight. Orphaned at age 3, never felt at home in Lumiere, difficulty connecting with and trusting others. At age 16, she is significantly younger than the other expeditioners, and unlike them, she sees the expedition as her chance to explore beyond Lumiere and forge her own destiny. That last line matters, because it draws a line between Maelle and the rest of the group. For many expeditioners, this is the final year woe, the last attempt to kill the paintress and reclaim a future for the city's children. Gustav's own official bio frames his purpose that way, devoting his final year to stopping the paintress. Maelle's reason is different. She isn't described as joining primarily to save Lumiere. She's described as joining because Lumiere never felt like home, and the expedition is a way to leave it behind. That is not a heroic origin, it's a haunted one. And it makes her presence aside Expedition 33 feel like a contradiction that works. A teenager among older doomed adults. A shy loner in a team that needs trust to survive. A girl who, in at least official tagline line, carried by press coverage. A girl who is introduced as eager to fly, in a world built to clip wings. So why does Maelle choose to go? The official materials are blunt. She sees the expedition as her chance to explore beyond Lumiere and finally forge her own destiny. If you strip away the poetry, it's still devastating, because destiny in this setting is usually something done to you, painted onto stone by the paintress. And Maelle wants a destiny she can author, and she tries to get it by walking into a landscape that has already devoured so many before her. Some reviews describe Clair Obscur plot as you follow Gustav and his adopted sister Maelle on Expedition 33, in a world where the monolith's number mean entire age groups vanish. That adopted sister phrasing also reinforces what the official character page implies. Gustav is her anchor point, her foster brother, someone she's come to appreciate even with her difficulty trusting people. So Maelle's decision to join isn't just wanderlust. It's a collision of needs. A need to leave a city that never felt like hers. A need to become someone other than the orphan, the ward, the younger one. And a need to do it now, while time still exists as something she can spend. And there is something else too, something embedded in that tagline. Everyone in Lumiere is an orphan. Whether you read that as metaphor or literal social rot, the effect is the same. Maelle's personal orphanhood is mirrored by the city's spiritual one. She's not the only person missing something. She's just the one who refuses to pretend it doesn't matter. From the official descriptions, Maelle's strengths are quiet but sharp. A clear-eyed desire for self-determination. She joins because she wants to explore beyond Lumiere and forge her own destiny. That is agency, stated directly. The ability to form at least one deep bond despite distrust. She has difficulty connecting and trusting others, so she's come to appreciate Gustav. That implies she can trust, selectively, painfully, but genuinely. Resilience shaped by displacement. We are not told exactly what her early years looked like, only that she orphaned at age 3 and never felt at home. The resilience here isn't something we need to invent. It's the minimum required to reach 16 in a world like this and still choose the expedition. And there is a subtle strength embedded in the press phrasing. She's described as a shy loner. That is easy to mistake for weakness, but in a city suffocated by yearly death ritual, Being a loner can also mean being harder to manipulate, harder to recruit into confronting lies, harder to lull. Sometimes loneliness is an armor. Not a good armor, not healthy armor, but armor all the same. Maelle's weaknesses are named outright. Difficulty connecting with and trusting others. In an expedition, distrust isn't just emotional, it's tactical. It slows coordination, it delays confession, it makes people hesitate, and seconds decide who bleeds. Dislocation, never felt at home. That doesn't mean she hates Lumiere, it means her baseline is estrangement. And estrangement can become a hunger, one that sends you running toward the unknown simply because it's different. Youth inside a death march. The sources don't spell out how the team treats her, but they do emphasize she's significantly younger than the others at 16. That alone tells you she's an outliner. And outliners don't get to be invincible. They get watched, protected, resented, or all three. Even without elaboration, that's set up as a pressure. Now let's talk mechanics, because Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a kind of a game where the character's emotional design and combat designs are rhyming. Maelle is a part member whose identity in battle revolves around stances, a system that lets her push damage or reinforce survivability. With her stances, she can increase the damage she deals while also giving herself a defensive boost. And so there is one important practical trade-off. Managing her AP, ability points, matters. And defensive mode can help her survive long enough to rebuild resources, especially early, when refilling AP isn't easy. So in the controller, Maelle is often about timing. Build resources, shift stance, strike when the window opens, and then endure what comes back. That already feeds the character buyer. Cautions, guarded, difficulty trusting, yet still stepping forward when it counts. But Maelle also has a reputation for something else – explosive damage. And that reputation isn't just community myth. Even the game developers commented about her stand-hold skill, describing how it became widely overpowered due to a late chance that wasn't properly tested, enabling extreme damage before later balancing adjustments. And so even in patch 1.2.3, the skill damage was reduced by 40%. So if you want the clean summary, Maelle's strong point as a game character, high impact offensive potential paired with stance-based flexibility. Maelle's weak point as a game character is resource management and survivability that can demand deliberate play. Defensive mode and AP rebuilding matter practically early on. In other words, she rewards intention. Mesh with her and you will feel empty. Out of AP, out of turns, out of forgiveness. Play with discipline, and she becomes a blade that chooses when the fight ends. Here is the part the most character write-ups miss. Maelle's personal strength and weaknesses map clearly onto her combat identity. A girl who struggles to trust becomes a fighter who doesn't thrive on constant free spending. She needs setup, pacing, control. A girl who never felt at home becomes someone whose power strikes when she commits to a stance, when she decides who she is in this turn. And a teenager eager to fly becomes a character whose best moments are brief, bright and dangerous, burst windows that can change the entire shape of a battle. So to summarize, Maelle is joining the expedition to escape Lumiere, to see beyond it, to forge her own destiny. That makes her a different kind of protagonist, because the classic RPG record says, "I'm going to save my home." Maelle's text says, "My home never held me." And in a setting defined by the paintress's early death cycle, where the city plans its life around an approaching number, that difference is not small. It is a difference between sacrifice and liberation, between dying for something and risking death to become someone. Thanks for watching, hit that like button, subscribe for more expedition lore, and be strong through your own journey to the paintress core.